So species diversity talks about how in a community different kind of species are varying across a particular plane, and how there are multiple species that are present in the abundance of theirs. Okay, so diversity basically means the differences. So the more the different species and their abundances are there, more it is diverse. Okay, so considering that diversity not only talks about what is the number of individuals that are present, but also talks about what is the different type of species. So they have different levels of diversity. One is alpha diversity. Alpha diversity talks about what is the number of diversity in a particular region. Okay, so let's say here is a particular region that is enclosed in circles. So the number of species that are available in that particular region will be the alpha diversity. For example, let's say there are three regions. Okay, and in three regions, there are three kind of species. One are reds. Okay, one are blues and one are greens. Okay, so here you can see what are the number of reds there are available, 3, blues are 3, greens are 1. Okay, so this is the alpha diversity of that particular region. Now similarly in this area, let's say there are 2 reds, 4 blues and 3 greens. Now this is the alpha diversity of that particular region. So alpha diversity of this region, which will, let's say, call it A, B and C. For P region, it will be what, 2 reds, 4 blues and 4 greens. Okay, similarly for species distribution in C region, let's say there is 1 red, 2 blue and greens are, let's say, 5. Okay, so this is again the alpha diversity of that region. That is 1 red, 2 blue and 5 greens. Okay, so the thing is, this is the alpha diversity of that particular region. So what is the difference between these two particular areas? That will become the beta diversity. It is how different it is. So here we are comparing the diversity of particular species across communities. Okay, that is beta diversity. So this is usually around a particular region. So the beta diversity here talks about differences among the two different species. Okay, so it is a comparative diversity reagent. So here we are talking about differences between two different communities. Now beta diversity talks about related communities and how they differ between each other. So here you can see the beta diversity is entirely among there are 5 reds that vary across this region, and there is 5 greens and there are 7 blues. Okay, so we are talking about different differences among these two communities, how they're distributed. Now when we take the entire area, then we get what? Then we get gamma diversity. Okay, then we get entirely gamma diversity. So the gamma diversity entire region will be how many? So there are 6 reds. Okay, and there are how many blues? 9 blues and 10 greens. Okay, so that is the entire gamma diversity of that particular region. With we are talking about 3 species. We have 3 species with this much of abundances. Okay, so this is what the gamma diversity is. Let's say for in this region there was there is one particular more species. Okay, two browns are there, and there is one different species. Okay, pinks. So all total now there are how many species? Okay, there are 5 species plus 2. Okay, so there are 2 pinks and what 2 browns. So all total this is the gamma diversity of that particular region. And when we compare the beta diversity again here, so you'll find there is the difference between these two is there is a difference between there are 3 species here, whereas here are 4 species. So that is the difference between species as well as community. So this is the sort of difference. Okay, so the entire beta diversity would be comparing these two particular species. Next, moving on to understanding the species diversity. Species diversity has different attributes, that is species richness. Richness talks about the number of species. So in that system we saw, so this is the species richness. So species richness is 3. Okay, here let's say in the community A we found that there are 3 kind of species. In B we found that there are 4 species. In C we found there are 5 species. let's say let's add here. Okay, let's add here. It is so, okay. So now in C the species richness is 5, right? So you can get that these differences are about different attributes. So this is species richness, then species evenness. Evenness talks about how they are distributed. I mean, in this system you can see that this is species B where all systems are somewhat distributed in a particular manner, that there are two X's, so there are two reds, two pinks, four blues and four greens. So they've sort of equally distributed thing. But here you can see there are like one red, five greens, two blues, two pinks, and two browns. So it is unevenly distributed because there is variation. One is rare, X is here rare, and one is dominant. So it is little bit unequally distributed. Whereas here you can see a sort of equally distributed system. So they are more even. And species abundance again talks about occurrence and availability of that particular species at a particular time or a particular equivalent period. Okay. And dominance talks about how a species has higher number or hierarchical system. So here you can see which species is dominant in C. Obviously the species of green is particularly dominant because it has 5 individuals, which is rare. The red is rare because it is only one individual. So these are attributes of species diversity. So these all contain or combine together to give an idea about species diversity.